it's Ashley here. So, because it is February 1st, I wanted to do a little plan with me. I've started doing my kind of goals and resolutions this year a little bit different. January was a trial month, and I wanted to see if like what things worked for me, what things different didn't, and kind of going from there. So starting out, I'm just cleaning off my board, and just have to get everything wiped down. I like to use a whiteboard instead of a planner or instead of like pieces of paper because it's just a lot easier for me to just continuously use, and I do try to be just a little conscious of my environmental footprint. And I used to buy like 3-4 planners a year, but this way every month it's everything is right there and I don't have to be flipping through a lot of pages. And you'll see, I'll show you on the top right is like all of my resolutions. But to clean off my whiteboard, I just use some Windex, some like glass cleaner. I probably could just use soap and water as well. Honestly, I've just never tried it. But I just use some glass cleaner and a microfiber cloth, and I just start wiping away. Sometimes it does get a little stuck on because it's been like a month since I've written the stuff down and since they dried. But, you know, it's not a little nothing a little elbow grease can't help take out. Another reason why I like to use whiteboards is because I make a lot of mistakes, as you'll see, and I'm kind of not necessarily a perfectionist, but I like things to look a certain way, and with a whiteboard, I'm able to do that. I'm able to just, oh, I made a mistake, erase, instead of having to get like a whole new sheet of paper. So starting out, obviously writing the month on top, which it is coming into February, and I'm super excited just because I like the beginning of the new year, but this month was just not my month. I've had like car troubles, I'm having troubles with my tiny house, which I'll go into later, but it was just a lot of stuff going on. And so to start out, you just gotta write all the dates out. Thankfully, February only has 28 days this year. Sometimes my months don't fully fit on this whiteboard, and so what I have to do is I have to either just discount the first week or the last week, or do like half days at the end of the month, which isn't all that fun, but I usually don't write too much stuff on the whiteboard, which is great. My days don't really like to change too much, which I do like. I like having a set schedule, but sometimes if something comes up, it's like I have to write even smaller, which is never fun. Um, and then here I'm just erasing my grocery list. I like to write like a list of what the groceries I need for the week as I run out. So if I run out of milk, I'll write it down right there. If I run out of cheese, I'll write it down right there. And it just helps keep everything in place. I don't have to use too many sticky notes, too many different pieces of paper. And then after I get everything looking in its standard form how I want it to look, then it's time to kind of go in and write like the appointments that I know I need to do. And you can see right here, I already made a mistake. So I make a lot of mistakes as I'm filling this out, but just like I know certain days of the month are going to be appointments that I need to make, or just any special days or notes that I need to make for those days coming up in the month, just to remember them. Like these volleyball tournaments I'm writing down, I'm always forgetting when I have them, so it's good to write it out just so that it's all in one place, just one thing I gotta look at to get up to my schedule. And so starting out, after that, that's when I like to just go. I only go week by week. So right now I'm on this first week, so I'm only going to fill in for this week unless there's something specific that I know is going on. And this week, or last month, I realized that I like to work out in the morning. I don't really like to go after I finish work because it's just too many people. And it makes me feel like my day is a lot longer, which it kind of is because I'm awake for more hours. And so I plan to go to the gym at 5 a.m. every day, and then I also plan to work from 8 to 5. This week is the first week that I get to work on my own schedule. I do work someplace new now. I work from home, and I really love it. I love having my dogs with me, and it's just a lot of fun, and I really enjoy what I'm doing. And I get to start my hours whenever I want, technically whenever I want, but between 7 and 9 a.m. So I choose like 8 just in case it's running a little late or I want it to start early. And 5 o'clock is a great time for me to end. I could probably end at 4:30 depending on how long I make my lunch. And then Saturdays are usually volleyball days, so that's what I'm just going to put down because it is part of this week. But this Saturday I'm also working a lot longer than I usually do. I'm working 2 shifts instead of 1. which I'm super excited for. Everybody who knows me knows I love being around volleyball, I love playing, I love coaching, everything about it. So being there for a lot longer this week, super excited for it. And then after I get just the schedule down, it's time to start figuring out my bills, my upcoming bills. I'm not figuring them out, but just like writing it down. The next upcoming expenses that I'm gonna have, only because like this year already has become an expensive year for me, and it's only been like 31 days. So I really have to get my finances in order, which is why I'm also doing a budget with me in the end of this video, just to get my budget for February together. I owe some personal debts, I owe some consumer debts, and I just want to get that out of the way and like almost consumed and just gotten rid of by the end of this year as much as I can. So I'm really trying to be diligent about it, and I'm gonna try to keep up with it and like post about it here, only so that I'm keeping myself accountable, because if I tell other people, then I kind of like in my mind have to do it. So the next upcoming payments are like, I have a rental car because my car broke down, whole situation. That's due on Wednesday. I have my car insurance payment due on Friday. And then I also have like my, what else is it? Oh, my phone bill. Yeah, my phone bill is coming out. And after that's settled, I go to my New Year's resolution side. I have a lot of goals and resolutions that I want to get through this year. And at the top, my sister said she wants to read 365 books. So I'm holding her to that. I'm going to remember that. My goal is only 200 books. Hers is 365. We'll see who gets closer to our goal by the end of the year. Probably her, because she likes to read more. But one of the important things I want to do is regrout out my bathtub and just like do a bunch of those things, and change out my toilet maybe, and just a couple of things in my house I want to fix up. And I want to get a new water heater, because my water heater in my tiny house is broken. So that's another expense, another thing that I have to fix in my tiny house this year, and just so much things. So these are my resolutions, and I hope to stick to them, and we'll see how this year progresses, and I'll revisit them probably in a couple of months. But overall, that's what planning with me is like. I plan once a week, and so every Sunday I'll just continue with that week, and I'm super excited to see how my goals, my resolutions, and my year just progresses. And so now it's time to move on to the budget part of planning for this month. And so I plan my month and like the activities, but I also have to plan my finances because I want to gain control of it, and it's hard to have control when it's all variable and everything is changing. And so I'm going to be very transparent on here about like the funds that I make, just because this is more of an accountability thing, and I don't want to like lie or anything like that. I do tend to estimate higher for my expenses than I do for my income. But first I start by writing out how many times I get paid a month, which is only twice, when I get paid, and then also the amount, and then totaling it all up. And then from there, after I total it all up, then I start to write out my expenses. And so my expenses include like rent, car payment, like Netflix, all of those things, all of my expenses. I just write them down. I typically write them down in the order of when they'll get paid. So it kind of doesn't make sense. It probably won't make sense to you much, but to me it makes sense, because the last payment of the month that I do get, the last check that I get, that goes towards the beginning of the next month. So all of these are like things that are going to come out at my next paycheck, not the bills that I have that I'm going to need to pay within the next 2 weeks. So these are all after that. So like the first payment after that is most likely going to be my Netflix, which is like $20. I pay for all of me and my siblings, and then my sister pays for another streaming service, and then my sister pays for another streaming service. So that's how we hack it a little bit and just like kind of spend less money on it. I budget all of my credit card payments. I'm not going to write them all out, but what I do is I just I know what all the minimums are, and then also what I'm paying extra on. I'm not going to be as detailed with that on here just because for time's sake, and I just didn't feel like writing it all out since I already know. And I also have like loans, some like student loans and like personal loans for taking classes when I didn't qualify for student loans, and just things like that I just like need to come out. And so that's what I'm focusing my time on, is just writing that all out so that I have it in a spot. I also have this on an Excel spreadsheet, but I do like to have it kind of written out. I also budget for my gas and my groceries. Because I work from home, my gas is a lot less now. This month, thankful for it. So thankful that it's a lot less because I don't like driving in the cold. Um, and also my groceries, because I'm home, I spend less money eating out, so I get to eat at home more, and it's just easier to meal prep. It's easier to have everything because my kitchen is right there. And you guys have seen my house. I love to cook, so cooking is just not hard for me. It's easy to do, and it's a lot cheaper than eating out. And then as I'm going through this, I start totaling up and also adding the numbers together just so that I have like an estimate or around what I have and what I've made or what everything is owing. Because I also do, I do volleyball, and so that's a kind of a side hustle. I do get paid for that. And then also, depending on what's left after that, I might need to do deliveries or maybe work at the gym more, because I still do work at the gym, which I do love working at the gym, but it's not as much. I do like to try to get hours here and there. But if I have all the numbers laid out, I'll know how much I would be in the negative if I don't get all these side hustles and all this and that. I wish I didn't have to get side hustles. I wish I could just work one solid job, but my expenses are a little too much for that, and that's all on me. Once I get, financial freedom and I get to where a place that I want to be financially by the end of this year, I shouldn't have this problem at all. But, this is what happens when you enter a master's program and then realize it's not for you halfway through, and now you owe all that money. And you also took classes and had to take out loans to take classes to go. So this is just, a learning mistake, a growing pain in my eyes financially, and just moving forward with that. And so as I'm going through this, one thing that I do want to know is I put the most important funds first, and then slowly going down from there. So like the most important were those bills that really needed to get paid, that was like really important, and then after that it was mainly like things that are important to get paid for my future, but also like not too important. And then like gas and groceries, I don't drive too much, so if I just can't go to the gym every day and I have to work out from home, that's fine. And if I need to cut back on groceries, that's something I can do. But the other ones are more of like things I like to have as much of as I can. And then it goes into just doing the math. So like doing the main math of like the income minus the expenses, minus the extras, minus the variables, and then adding in the side hustles after that, because then it shows me how much I need to make from my side hustles to be able to afford to like save and do all the stuff that I want to do. And I do like to plan to have leftover money by the end, just in case something is a little bit more expensive, or just in case, I want to go on a date, or I want to spend a little extra on groceries. And so that is how I plan for February and how I'm budgeting for February. Hopefully all goes well, but you never know. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Bye!